There was always something sacred about Friday night lights in Calhoun, Georgia. The town didn't have much: a Walmart, a tired diner, a handful of rusted mills, and a football team the town bled for. At the heart of it all was Coach Donnelly, a man with a deep Southern drawl and a reputation for two things: winning games and doing it his way. Every year, new boys would rise through the ranks, eager to wear that green and gold jersey. But the year Jamal Walker joined varsity, everything changed. Jamal wasn't just good, he was phenomenal. At 16, he had the instinct of a seasoned quarterback, the vision of a chess master, and the legs of a sprinter who knew how to fly. The whole town saw it. Fans cheered louder. College scouts started showing up. Even the opposing teams whispered his name with something like fear. But not Coach Donnelly. He couldn't see past the color of Jamal's skin. He ain't ready to lead no team, he'd say behind closed doors. He's got raw talent, sure, but no discipline. Too much flash, not enough fundamentals. What he meant was clear to anyone listening. Not our kind of quarterback. Jamal took the disrespect in silence. He was raised by a mother who taught him to fight with grace, not fists. Let your work speak, she'd always say. So he kept showing up to practice early, stayed late, studied the plays like scripture. The team knew who their real leader was. The boys followed him. But still, on game night, Jamal was benched. Every week. Kept in the shadows of lesser players who fumbled passes and collapsed under pressure. The team's record fell apart. And with every loss, Coach Donnelly found someone else to blame, except himself. Then came the championship semifinal. The town was buzzing. Calhoun hadn't made it this far in years. The stands were packed, lights blazed, and tension gripped the field like a storm waiting to break. The opposing team was ruthless, built like machines. In the first half, Calhoun was crushed, down 21-3. The starting quarterback was rattled, throwing wild passes and calling confused plays. The crowd started chanting something no one had dared to say aloud. Put in Jamal. It started small, then louder. Then the whole stadium was singing it like a hymn. But Coach Donnelly just folded his arms, jaw tight. He motioned for his starter to go back out. And that was the moment. Jamal stood up, not in defiance, but in duty. He walked to Coach, helmet in hand. "Coach, let me help." Donnelly looked him in the eye and said the words Jamal would never forget. "Sit your black ass down. We ain't playing backyard ball tonight." The words sliced through the noise. Dead silence fell across the sideline. Even the players stopped breathing. Jamal blinked, nodded slowly, and sat down. The second half? A disaster. Calhoun lost by 30. The season ended not with a bang, but a bitter thud. Scouts packed up. Dreams evaporated. The locker room felt like a funeral. And Jamal walked home alone. But stories don't always end where they break. The video of that moment surfaced. One of the players had recorded the coach's slur. It spread like wildfire. The school board called an emergency meeting. Parents demanded accountability. Players spoke out. The truth rose, unstoppable. Coach Donnelly was fired. And Jamal? He didn't get the championship he deserved, but he got something better. A full ride to a Division I college. He became a star. And years later, he returned to Calhoun, not as a player, but as a coach. Not to relive the past, but to reshape the future. And his first rule? Talent knows no color. And no kid ever sits on my bench because of who they are. Silence in the face of racism isn't neutrality. It's complicity. One coach's bias cost his team everything. But one young man's grace under fire lit the way for change. We must learn from these stories, or we're doomed to repeat them. If stories like this matter to you, stories that speak truth, power, and justice, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community. Your voice helps amplify the unheard.